What's up guys, so today is day number 7 finally after hair transplant with Dr. Bruno Ferreira in Portugal. For those who are new here, my name is Rolandas, it's my second hair transplant. Altogether I had 6,540 grafts implanted in pretty much the whole area of Norwood 5A, so like front, mid-scalp and crown. And also I had a little bit of temple work done. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new here for more tips and tricks on hair transplant, to see how I'm recovering, to follow my journey, and a lot of other useful information how to do research on hair loss, etc. So far everything looks pretty good, to be honest. So I slept much better today. I was still sleeping with a travel pillow. I want to be an extra cautious because I've had done the temple points. If not the temple points, it would be fine because, you know, even if you like going on the sides, like you would not really touch that much of the recipient area on the top or even the crown, because my crown was not like really that low, it was pretty high. So it would have been fine, but because I've done some temple peaks just a little bit, I don't think it's such a great idea to lay down on, you know, these areas. Although technically at day 7 you really cannot do any damage at this point. As always, I had my head wash in the morning, shampoo, donor area, recipient area, then aloe vera, donor recipient area. Today I was washing recipient area more aggressive than it was yesterday, but not going all in. I was like, you know, circular motions, even with the fingers, slightly like, you know, putting a bit more pressure. And I noticed already some scabs from my mid-scalp and crown are going away already. I didn't expect that happening, but I think it's because I was putting just so much saline. I was literally flooding my scalp with saline if you watch my, you know, earlier videos on day 1 to 3. So yeah, they're pretty soft and it's quite easy to take them out compared to if you wouldn't be using saline or as much. Also on the head washes, I start to like rub more on my donor, especially on the top parts where I've got some of these scabs, because the scabs are forming in the donor extraction areas as well. And but there's not like really that many, because when you're sleeping with a travel pillow, you're kind of always rubbing your head and the scabs are falling quite easily. So whenever I'm washing my donor, I put the shampoo and I wait for like, you know, 2-3 minutes, so you kind of have a little bit of time to soak in, to loosen them up a little bit, to make them softer, and basically, yeah, just to rub it in properly. And of course the donor is still quite sensitive, like my head is getting a little bit longer. Actually, it's pretty long. It's actually growing so quickly, it's crazy. Nonetheless, when the head is longer, whenever you're rubbing it, you feel the friction much easier, and because the scalp is still healing, it's still like quite sensitive. It hurts a little bit more when you when you're rubbing it, but it's not really that bad. It's just something to keep in mind, that, you know, don't be surprised if there's like a little bit of, you know, sensitivity in your scalp. It's absolutely normal. You had like thousands of extractions done, you know, so. One guy commented on my previous video on day 5 and 6 about the head wash. He said, aren't you supposed to like be more aggressive and do like in circular motion on the recipient area on day 7? And yes, while I was pretty gentle, was just tapping on day 5 and 6 video, it was mainly just to show how you should start slowly, you know, washing on day 4, because I didn't do it, and some people asked me, you know, to kind of show how I was, you know, doing it. So I basically made it for demonstration purpose, but on the evening, the same night, I washed it like properly, you know, with the circular motions basically. So yeah, the idea is from day 4, be super careful just tapping it, but as the day goes by, you slowly increasing the intensity, and you start like, you know, rubbing back and forth, circular motion, and like, you know, more and more. So you're gonna keep yourself on track at day 10 to 14 to remove completely all the scabs. Since there is still a lot of restrictions, I had to self-isolate in, you know, at home for 10 days as per guide, you know, UK government advice. And I had to do 2 COVID PCR tests on day 2 and day 8 after my arrival. So today was day 2 of the arrival. I ordered in home like this self-testing kit basically that I did, and then I had to send over. So yeah, I did this PCR test and I had to go to, you know, post it. And it was pretty sunny. It's still pretty hot and it's day 7. So yeah, I put a hat. Dr. Ferreira suggests for the first 3 to 5 days do not put any headgear at all, but at day 7 should be alright. But I still was pretty cautious. I didn't put like, you know, I didn't make it super tight or anything. So the way I'm using it is pretty simple. Basic baseball hat. That's basic Velcro, so I'm making it super loose and carefully putting it on my head, starting from the front, going backwards. And after I'm gonna put it, I'm gonna be able to tighten it just a little bit. and I'm still keeping it pretty loose, and now I can make it a little bit more tight, so it's not going to be blown away by wind. And there you go. Yeah, pretty basic, but of course, again, be careful. At day 7 should not be any problems at all, but the main issue is friction. Dr. Ferreira explained when I asked about like hard helmet at work, he suggests not to use hard helmet for the first 30 days at all, unless it's like for a short amount of time. So he said the main issue with this is not like the grafts are secured, but it's just the friction. It can pull out the grafts, and he said it's not a good thing. Personally, I have no idea why. Like if you think about it, even if it's gonna be pulled, the graft's still gonna grow. Like the follicle under the skin is attached and should be alright. But he said it's not like that bad, but it's like mainly a precaution. If you want to give yourself the best chance possible for the best result, you know, it's worth taking every little precaution possible. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do as well. In the long term, I'm probably gonna be, you know, happy about it. And whenever you're taking the hat as well, the same, I'm just taking out this Velcro altogether and going from the back to the front, the exact same way that I put it on. So yeah, again, be super careful without trying to rub it in. Yeah, that's how I was using my hat today. I think I'm gonna go all in with the hat as soon as I'm gonna remove the scabs, because, you know, if you're gonna start putting the hat properly, tightly and everything, and you still have scabs, they're gonna start like falling off. They're gonna be all over your hat. It's in terms of wearing specific clothes, as you can see, I'm still wearing a shirt. But to be honest, at this stage, again, there's like it's absolutely fine. You can wear, to be honest, anything. Just be extra careful when you're putting it. I've seen plenty of people from even like a day 2, they just, you know, wearing a simple t-shirt. And to be honest, as long as you're careful and you're not touching, like, you know, or rubbing the recipient area, you should be fine, you know. So yeah, don't overthink such things. I've just got plenty of them, and you know what? It's just so much easier. One thing I wanted to mention about scabs, in my case, mid-scalp and crown was more grafts implanted, and it's much more visible than, for example, the front and especially the temple peaks, the temple points. If you have a closer look, it's like the whole mid-scalp and crown is like, you can clearly see there's something has been done. Especially yesterday and 2 days ago was even worse because there were more scabs. Yesterday evening and today morning I kind of like removed just a few here and there. If you compare it to like a frontal third where was only what 600-700 grafts implanted all over the place, you can't really see that clearly because there is a lot of surrounding hair that kind of masks it, you know. But temple points especially, they're looking really nice. Like, of course, there's a little bit of like a redness of the skin that gives this kind of like a shape of a triangular shape. It's not gonna be as defined once, you know, the skin gonna properly heal. But the scabs, they are almost non-existent. There is such a small amount of scabs. And the reason, of course, is pretty simple. So the temple peaks had implanted only very single fine hair grafts, which were extracted from around the ears, from these areas. And of course, because they're very fine, the overall supporting tissue around the graft was basically less of it. So whenever it's implanted, it's like very small, it's almost, you know, invisible. And hence why it's actually much easier to remove it as well. I'm pretty sure after like just a few washes, I removed like a lot of it. But if you compare temple point scabs to mid-scalp and crown scabs, it's like a huge difference. So yeah, looking forward to see full looking head of hair. That's the best time to kind of see your final best case scenario result, because everything is going to be there. When you're removing the scabs, you of course might take out some of the hairs together with the scabs, but it's not going to be a lot. I would eyeball maybe 5% of total, you know, hairs implanted. It's like very small amount. And I remember after my first transplant, I was so excited. It was looking so good. I had like a really defined hairline. Of course, the skin redness was helping to define the hairline. It was looking pretty good. I was really happy. And the same thing goes right now as well after the second surgery. Whatever you see right now, it's still, you know, the hairline is defined and temple peaks are defined more only because of the redness of the skin. Once the skin gonna be healed, it's not gonna be as defined, basically, as great. But yeah, I'm pretty confident it should be alright. Yeah, I think that's it for today. If you got any more questions, make sure to drop them in the comments down below. As always, I'm gonna be more than happy to answer all of them. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure to hit that like button. That's gonna help me a lot as well. And I will see you in the next one.